Peace and bliss, and welcome back to Reclaiming Our Roots. This is Tanya, and I am here on the balcony to give you all our first garden tour of the year. So the intention with the space on the balcony is to grow herbs, and more herbs. And as you can see here, I have Mexican tarragon here, and I have Thai basil, looking really healthy. As you can see, the soil needs to be watered, and not only watered, I need to feed the space with some fish fertilizer. I have here, these are all transplants that I purchased. This is chocolate mint, and I have 4 cucumber peppers here. These are, what's the variety of these? It's not the salt and pepper, it's the silver slicer. I grew these 2 years ago. Prolific grower, really good cucumber. So these are 4 cucumber plants. This here is a strawberry mint. I think this is a sage. Yes, this is the purple sage. No, this is not the purple sage. This is the pineapple sage. Here. I have some stevia here. Had another stevia plant down here. Something happened where someone either snapped it or I don't know. But I have it in water rooting out, and then I'll transplant it back into the container. And here are all of the tomato transplants that I do not have room for, but I will make room for. Sweet 100 varieties. Have a yellow pear variety. Is there a pepper plant in it? No pepper plants. So, I don't know if you all recall, a couple of years ago, I grew on the rooftop, hence all of the grow bags up there. But this year we have a live-in cat that has taken, I don't know what's going on this year with us in nature, but I'm not going to combat a cat. She is making use of not one, but multiple of these containers, and she sleeps in it at night. We found that out about a week ago, and about a couple of days ago, we found out that she has a little kitten back there. So we're assuming there's a litter of cats, a cat with her litter back here, but we've only seen her nursing only one, which I'm concerned because most cats have litters, not just single births. But it's not unusual for that to happen. But yeah, so I was going to utilize this space for growing watermelon, and what else was I going to? Oh, my sweet potatoes this year. But it looks like I'm going to have to go to plan B. And the reason why I'm going to do that, guys, I can't combat a cat. So she has access to the rooftop, which means she would have access to my grow bags, and she can grill with them. I mean, she can use it as litter boxes, and I just can't chance having feline feces in our food. So I'm going to allow her to keep the rooftop and pivot to plan B, and I'll bring you all along and share with you all what that looks like. So this is the rooftop, guys. Got some cleaning up to do out here, but yeah, that's what the intention is for the space out here. It's just to have more herbs out here because it's not too far off from my kitchen. So I want to be able to have access to my culinary herbs at the time that I need them, so at my disposal. So yeah, so this is the balcony and my intentions for the balcony space. I'm going to take you all down below the garden over here, the ultimate container garden. Consists of 55 containers, and share with you all the progress and what's going on in there. Stay tuned. Okay, we are out in the main garden, and as you can see here, I have 4 red onion transplants in here, looking good. Need to water and feed. And over here, you all know her. This is Mrs. Figgy. I was concerned about Mrs. Figgy this year because you see how brittle she is, and I know one of the ways to find out if your tree is dead is to scratch the bark, and if you see any green there, that's an indication that she's still alive. Well, I didn't see any green, so I thought she was on her last leg and dying, but she has proven me wrong, and she is growing. I need to fertilize her as well, and also remulch the container. And here I'm growing onions. Again, I grew onions in this space the year before last, and they turned out really well. Here they need to be fertilized. And by fertilizing, I'm going to use a water-soluble fish fertilizer that has NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in it. Onions are heavy eaters. They love nitrogen, so they need to be fed. Well, the entire garden needs to be fed. This here, I have a beautiful, beautiful bush, luscious green bush, spearmint. More onions. These are not as thriving. These aren't thriving as well as the other ones, but they're coming along. I contemplated pulling them up, but I'll leave them alone. Here we have oregano, rosemary. Over here we have some chives. Perennial comes back every year. I need to make a harvest and feed and fertilize. And over here, this is a beautiful bush of catnip, just doing its own thing. I don't know what this is. And over here we have some sage that needs to be fed and fertilized. This container here is empty. Haven't decided what I'm going to put in. I'm going to put a tomato plant since I have an excess amount of tomato plants. So I'll put a tomato plant here. This here is a xoxo squash. Oregano. I put some cantaloupe in here, but they haven't germinated, so I need to reseed those. And here is some melons that I planted. They haven't germinated, and it's been over 2 weeks, so I'm gonna reseed those. I have some eggplant, 2 eggplants here. Been dealing with slugs this year. They've been trying to eat up all my pepper plants. They've already eaten one of them, so I had to replant my pepper plants. Pepper plants did not do well for me this year. Growing from seed, it was my fault. It was sheer neglect and killed all of them. So we have some mammoth jalapenos here. And as you can see, this year I'm experimenting with growing our peppers closer. I have found over the years that peppers don't mind being close. So I planted them roughly 6 to 7 inches apart, and we'll see how they do. So pepper plants, more pepper plants, pepper plants. This is a tomato variety here. This is a San Marzano, another San Marzano. This is a Roma, another Roma. This is a German pink, This is an Amish paste, 2 Amish pastes here. Black cherries. What is this? This is a chocolate cherry, another black cherry. Okay, I'm back, guys. As you can see here, I had a pineapple tomato plant here, but it met its demise with the sweltering temperatures, so I will be planting another tomato plant here. I have a black cherry, and this is my infamous beautiful purple and sage plant. She's absolutely gorgeous. This is fresh thyme. As you can see, it is doing really well. Lush and bushy. And over here is my okra row. So I have 6 containers that I've planted Clemson spineless. This one is a new variety. This is emerald okra. And the other 5 are Clemson spineless okra. Been very successful with those throughout the years. So it's a tried and true. So we'll continue to grow it. I do need to reseed in this container and this container. And then around here we have our dismal apple tree that is not doing well. They got off to a great start. I mean, it was covered in blossoms, and I was just so hoping that it would bear fruit this year, but I think it just needs to be rehomed in the ground in order for it to thrive. This container is just not working. It did encounter disease a couple of years ago. I forgot the name of it. I think it's some type of rust that invades the leaves and sickens the plant. So I had to spray it with some fungicide in order to mend it, but it hasn't fully recovered. So that's the issue with that one. And I think this is a Granny Smith apple. And then over here we have, I think this is the Honeycrisp. Same situation, in a dismal state. It was promising in the beginning. I thought that it was really going to bear fruit this year, but I give this plant grace because a couple of years ago it was struck by lightning in a very nasty thunderstorm that we had, and it's on a comeback, so I give it grace. So again, I think it's best rehomed in the ground. As you can see, soil is very dry. I need to water and fertilize. And just an FYI, guys, anytime you're growing in containers, it is imperative that you frequently water, because if it's in a container, the water will evaporate quickly. So on average, I water my garden every other day during the spring and summer months. And it depends on how hot it is in the summer. I will water every day. Okay, and over here we have blueberries. We have 2 blueberry bushes here that are looking really good. As you can see, it has some blueberries on it. Okay, so we're going to move back to the front of the main garden and show you all the other side. And you'll notice in these containers here, I do have 2 plants here. I would trim the weaker one of the 2 and allow that one to grow. And I'm going to put some more seeds in that one. You can see over here, I have a beautiful mess of potatoes. And this is another blueberry bush covered in blueberries, ripening for the picking. Looking good. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 containers of potatoes that I am struggling with keeping out of the aisle. I did tie them up, but they seem to manage to have fallen over again. So these are all potatoes. Majority of these are the Yukon Gold. I have some French fingerlings in here and some Minnesota Vikings, I believe. More tomato plants, sweet 100s. These are all tomato plants. This is the pineapple tomato, yellow pear, orange jazz, and I think this is a Paul Robeson. This is a chocolate cherry. This one was supposed to be, but did not germinate, straight neck squash. I will plant some more of that today. More straight neck squash. This is the gazelle zucchini that did not germinate. I'll replant. By saying replant, meaning I'm just going to drop some more seeds in. Those didn't germinate. This is also more cocoa zell. And what is this? This is the Market 76 cucumber. And again, another Market 76 cucumber. And what is this? This is the Black Beauty tomato. Hibiscus, new to the garden this year. Another hibiscus in an empty container. So as you can see, this is the garden. So not much to see. Everything is still relatively young. Not much to see. One of these tomatoes here looks like it's taken on some insect damage. So yeah, not much to see. Everything is relatively young and getting established. So, but yeah. So I'll be back in probably another 3 to 4 weeks. I'll try and do these garden tours once a month when there's something to really show. But overall, the garden is looking good. Just needs to be fertilized. I do fertilize my garden every 2 weeks with a feeding of liquid emulsion. As you can see, potatoes are starting to flower. I put no potatoes under there. And I water my garden, as I said, every other day, with the exception of blistering heat. Then I will water every day. So, okay. Until the next video. Peace and blessings.